what the judge said clearly is that Alhaji Oriyomi Hamzat, as indeed the other two, must not grant press interviews, print or electronic, concerning the case. It's not as if they shouldn't even grant, press interview concerning culture, tradition, concerning any other thing.
Not make any public
but
appearance at all.
About the case, they must not grant press interview.
Individually, not that it's a radio station.
No. You see, it's also said that he must not also cause anything to be said about the case. You see, that's the totality of, and we are, as journalists, we are used to these things. This is not the first time that a court would restrict or make such statements, concerning people who are wards of the court, that this is going to be your conduct
for the period,
for as long as this case persists, up till the time we get to the conclusion. So let me go on to first report in summary what happened in the courtroom yesterday.
I'm sure he's waiting to listen to.
And so we got in there and sat down in court 8, waiting for His Lordship, Honorable Justice Kamaruddin B. Olawonyin. And so the judge attended to the applications in this particular order. The first was Alhaji Abdullahi Fasasi, the principal. Second, Olori Shilekunla, and third, Alhaji Oriyomi Hamzat. That's how he attended. And in summary, Honorable Justice Olawonyin did two things before determining the bail conditions. One, he touched on certain highlights as argued by the counsel on both sides. He brought us to par concerning the highlights of the arguments of, the lawyers, and then, of course, the state. He anchored his ruling on two key factors, which I mentioned in my last report. In the case of Fasasi, the judge affirmed that the Ministry of Education indeed received an application for usage of the premises. Payment was made, acknowledgement was evident, that the state was only raising a narrative after the tragedy, that there was no formal approval. He said there was ostensible approval. That's the word he used, ostensible approval, because the ministry neither approved promptly nor denied promptly. So he said, yes, no formal approval was evident, but was that enough ground to deny bail, he asked at that point. You see, the thing is, we were dealing with bail applications, but lawyers have touched certain parts of the substantive, expected substantive suit, because there was no substantive suit at that point. And then he said, at that point, nothing said the principal could colluded or was an organizer. Then the health argument did not receive a favorable, he didn't receive the favor of the judge, who said that, well, if you are saying that the facility did not have the kind of hard substandard, health, system, you did not go there. And therefore, that could, you can't say, how judges are tightly logical. So, and then he went on to, it could not then be argued that the Medicare there was non-existent or substandard. After these observations and determinations here and there, the judge frowned on the holding charge. He frowned on the holding charge and the way that led to the detention of Fasasi, and found that it was an exceptional circumstance, which is the linchpin here. that exceptional circumstance was what he relied on majorly, apart from frowning at the holding charge. The judge referred to the murder charge for a moment as conflicting with premeditation, and I think that would be further treated in the substantive suit when the fireworks begin, because we had skirmishes on the bail application. So he said apart from that, all the other charges were bailable, and no problem with those ones, and that but that one about murder could not be heard by the chief magistrate, and that's what broke the camel's back. The applicant was therefore admitted to bail.
Okay.
And at that point, I kind of thought, okay, so if one got it, all will get it. So because that was also the sequence when the denial was. So he talked about an infraction on the rights by arraignment before a chief magistrate who had no jurisdiction over such a case. So he said the arraignment was null and void ab initio. So what it meant was that that arraignment never existed. And the implication was that, okay, so you grabbed these people and did whatever. And so he said that underscores the denial of rights and liberties of these people. So the Honorable Justice Kamaruddin B. Olawonyin adopted the same premises to grant bail to the other two applicants, Olori Naomi and Alhaji Oriyomi Hamzat. That, in a nutshell, was what happened. Of course, you had the usual ups and downs, especially when the judge started reading his ruling, when we had our hearts in our mouths. That, okay, but along the line, the promise started showing that we are likely to leave this place happier than we came in. And I guess that's what happened at the end of the day.
Okay, I do not seem to be so clear on the issue of how they approved the application for the venue. They said it was ostensibly approved, or wasn't ostensibly approved?
Yes. What that means is that, you see, the process took place. And, which might mean the state was just being clever. After the tragedy happened, that, okay, you know what, yes, you applied, but, we did not approve. And so that approvals usually take about 3 weeks. And that since we did not approve, you just went ahead to use the place. And so the judge on the day was not taking that. It was just because of the tragedy that you're saying that. You took money was paid, receipt issued. So if you had anything you were going to say to disapprove of the place being used, you should have done that. That, okay, your request denied or your request approved. But I guess because there's a loose way of transacting this business, and indeed, according to them, it's not the first time, it's not the second time. This thing has been going on for a very long time.
Very familiar situation.
And so maybe when the case, starts to be heard properly, all those things will come out, that how did you do it in the past? If you're saying this particular one, was not approved, and so on and so forth. So we're going to see how these things will unfold at the end of the day. I'm sure that will be communicated, because the charges were freshly minted and submitted on Friday. So the lawyers are the ones that will get the date first. And then, of course, it will be communicated, I'm sure.
All right, then. So that's all we need to know.
At this point, yes.
At this point. All right. Maestro, report.
Yeah. And you know, it's quite fascinating. You know, the crowd. The crowd in court, the crowd at the correctional facility, everywhere.
Back home here.
You know, it would look like, you know, the return of a politician from exile. It's interesting, really.
Wow.